Liquid with the choice.
Tomb is an interesting map. Liquid doesn't really have a lot of success there lately. Oftentimes they got ahead, but then it turned against them. It's all about the momentum on the map, and it's a weird one, since Liquid several times when they played on Tomb was actually doing really well, and then in the end they lost the match, even though it looked like their strategy was the right choice. But at this point, with the loss, so the losing team always has the choice: do you want the map pick or do you want first pick, first ban? That's what always happens. And the reason why Team Liquid is currently choosing every single map here is when they lost the first one, they actually decided that they would rather pick the map than the first pick. But traditionally, when you look at Europe, most of the teams agree that having first pick and first ban gives them an edge, so that's what usually happens. That's why Team Liquid, after the Ducks just lost, have now again the map choice, since the Ducks are very heavily reliant on that first pick.
Now, the last time we saw Team Liquid go to this battleground, they tried to utilize Stitches and Kel'Thas together, a composition that we've seen in the past. Now, they did get beaten by the Falling Dragon as it hit at level 10, but the early game did look really solid. And then afterwards, Flumbia unfortunately was unable to hit the hook set that was needed for that composition to work. If they run the same comp today, we need those hooks to connect because they need to get those kills.
I would actually like them to be more aggressive. They looked strong in the early game on towers. I like aggressive styles that they have, and so far it has worked. And I believe that the Ducks are most likely going to be very aggressive in their stance again. And I would like Team Liquid to be more active instead of trying to reacting to their opponent. So a little bit more of an aggressive comp, trying to just dominate the middle of the map, establish a presence there instead of sitting back and hoping for Stitch's hooks to connect that you can follow up to. That's usually something that we see from especially weaker teams. Two exceptions would be Fnatic and Dignitas that have shown great Stitches play in the past, but even they push always in a little bit more aggressively forward with those comps.
Bring that confidence. Now, the playing Ducks on this battleground, they really enjoy a wave clear. Look for them to get the Rhaegar, Johanna, Vala, although they'll stick with the Hungering Arrow build. Still, try to clear out those waves as much as possible, push in their battleground, and really try to get the forts early. They love getting an early game advantage on this battleground. So, first ban coming in here for the playing Ducks. Will they ban out anything important, or are they going to stay with the Tassadar bans that we've seen in the past?
I mean, right now you have to consider Tassadar because he's so strong here overall. So Tassadar is going to be a huge consideration for the teams when it comes to bans. Then you're also talking again about ETC, which of course gains a lot of value. We've seen Team Liquid starting to focus a bit on bans that targeted Vala, because they're trying to take it away from the Ducks. We haven't really seen too much Nubarak play yet, but I would be surprised if we actually don't see that in on this map. I think the engage potential that you have is pretty great, since you're having a very close distance between lanes. But the Ducks actually ban out ETC, so we mentioned him a lot. He has been a first pick several times now. He has the Tassadar ban that we expected, but with ETC now banned out, you have a bit of a different dynamic with the frontliners at least.
That they do. So the playing Ducks, do they move into a support first? Do they want to grab their Rhaegar? Do they want to move into a Dahaka? Dahaka falls off a little bit on this battleground, but still very strong. In fact, you can make a case for him to be even a little bit more stronger due to his ability to use that Brush Stalker slash speed boost he gets from the bushes to go between the middle and the bottom side. Or will we have them hold off on grabbing the Dahaka and get a Johanna later on, because they've had it a lot as of late on this battleground?
Now, I don't really think that Dahaka is necessarily a first pick here. He still is good at what he does, but in this setup now, you can always think also about a Genji and Uther combo later on, so that's something that has to be on their mind. An early Vala pick is something that we have oftentimes seen, and with Rhaegar, of course, you have the added benefit now of having even more wave clear on your side. So he is a high priority pick in Europe overall as is, but if you play on Infernal Shrines or you play on 2 on the Spider Queen, you get a little bit more value from him, and that's why we're seeing the Ducks now moving into him straight away. The added wave clear is fantastic. You can really also in those close quarter fights get a lot of value out of your healing tools. You have the healing totem that you can place, one of the brushes to the back, and also of course the healing wave itself. The chain heal is doing solid work if you have everyone clumped up.
If history repeats itself, Team Liquid usually runs into double support on this battleground. Last time it was the Malf and the Ariel they mixed in when they had, I believe, the Lunara, if I remember correctly. No, it was a Vala they had on this battleground. So they can move into Vala themselves here, and I wouldn't mind seeing them pick it up against the playing Ducks and supporting it with the special supports they have on the side. Splinter still enjoys that Ariel, mixing it in there and trying to deny those big moments for the opposing team by using Aegis.
I would like a Gul'dan pickup by them. Maybe not right now as one of the early picks, but Gul'dan overall would definitely be a hero that I would love them to play again. They start with Lunara and Uther though. And for the Ducks, I actually still think that one of their concerns could be Medivh. They have shown great Medivh play, and this is a very good map for him. So that might be even something that Team Liquid is willing to target on the second ban slot. For now, of course, the Ducks could take him early. I would expect them to pick up Vala again here. Maybe even a Vala and Johanna, considering that they like to play Johanna, that she excels on the battleground, that she has that synergy. So that might be good for them. You have a blind against Lunara too. So that might be a good combo considering how much they value Vala in particular. So Vala and Johanna would definitely be one of the options that they have now.
Wouldn't mind seeing them. Typically, we can also get their soul laner. They have picked up Sonya in the past in the first 3.
I mean, you have also Genji to consider, but normally even you like Genji, you try to go into Uther. It's not that easy.
Rhaegar works though.
Yeah, Rhaegar works, but it's more so that Divine Shield. It just gives you so much more safety in this. And there we have it. Johanna taken as a tank indeed, but they take Gul'dan, so they actually pick it away from Team Liquid, making sure that TL cannot go into that Gul'dan that I just pointed out I would love to see on their side. So the Ducks immediately saying, you know what? We like the guy too, and they had some really solid horror fights. Let's make sure that Gul'dan is not going to end up on their end.
Staying true to form though. By getting the Gul'dan, they are focusing on wave clear as they typically do on this battleground. Team Liquid thinking about banning out the Malfurion, which does lead me to believe that they do want to move into Ariel if she's left up and available. Malfurion and Ariel are both good with Gul'dan, so if you ban out the Malf and you pick up the Ariel, the options are a bit limited for that Gul'dan, but he still has a Rhaegar, so he should be just fine.
Yeah, now keep in mind that one of the reasons why Malfurion is oftentimes picked or banned on this map is that this interrupt. But first of all, if you go into the Moonfire build, you have a huge amount of wave clear available to you towards the end. And also, you have so much interrupt on the map that it's fantastic. You can check bushes the entire time. You have interrupts against turn-ins. And if you can delay these turn-ins, the utility that he offers overall is just absolutely great. So he gains more value on the map. Haven't really seen him banned on this position just yet, but it's still understandable considering how much of a role he has played on Tomb of the Spider Queen in Europe.
Yeah, I think that comboed with how good he is with Gul'dan and how strong the 2-lane setup on the bottom with an extra support has been as of late. The Malfurion ban makes a lot of sense here. Now the Playing Ducks need to think about, do they want to ban out Ariel, or is there any particular tanks they want to walk away from? Right now with HGC being banned out, Blumby still has a lot of options available to him. We've seen him on Muradin, we've seen him on Stitches in the past, which Stitches with Uther and Lunara is a great composition. You get the stun set up and you get the slow so you can work in those auto attacks and kill him.
Genji's another hero you have to think about, but they go for the ban on Oriel now. So Genji with Uther is still available. Double support can still be played by Team Liquid. We could see a Stitches composition. Lunara and Stitches are actually really strong together. Europe has started to move away from unfair advantage quite a bit, especially since most of the times when you're picking Lunara, you're going up against like really heavy mage damage too, and then you are a bit more concerned about keeping her alive, so we oftentimes see greater spell shield on level 13 taken. But old school style would really using that unfair advantage together with the Pure Druid Bile, because you get so much extra damage out and you're starting to chase quite heavily. So that's something that we could still see Stitches for this as the frontline tank. But of course there's also Muradin that Team Liquid has played a lot. I'm wondering if we could maybe even see them go into something along the lines of Muradin, see that Tyrande, you have the Uther stun already, so you have some stun follow-ups, can play around those. And yeah, Chromie loves you, by the way.
I'm going to hurt Josh when we leave here. I'm going to thumb wrestle him and beat him as hard as I can. Malthael and Stitches picked up. Malthael, great on that bottom lane. Usually can escape a lot of ganks if he picks up the level 1 talent that gives him movement speed. Great for late game, and also kind of speaks towards that double poison composition. We saw it a lot when Malthael originally came out. It's fallen off a little bit. Teams have gotten better at trying to find kills in those comps, but if you're able to stain through, slow down your opponent, burn them down, and get to a point where they're running across the battleground and you have that chase between Lunara and Malthael, you will get kills.
Yeah, right now this is already a really annoying combo to play against.
Annoying is a good way to put it.
You have lockdown through Stitches and mainly Uther, of course. But yeah, Divine Shield on Malthael when he goes deep is also an absolutely fantastic tool. And the question that I personally have is if you're going to see a Nubarak for the Ducks, since oftentimes when you talk about Malthael, he's pretty much shut down by a quick cocoon after the Tormented Souls. So if that's going to be a thing, that would be great for them. It's Lucio and Greymane, so double support, working against the damage over time with the heal over time, also giving them movement speed for even more chase.
I like the Lucio. There are two ways that a lot of folks have started to deal with the Malthael. With the Divine Shield Malthael being there, you don't really want to try too hard to get something that can lock him down like the Cocoon, because there is a good chance that it gets interrupted or you can't hit it in time. But getting the Sound Barrier up right when he pops his Tormented Souls allows for you to have shields and get the disengage you want as he boosts you out of the fight. Or you can go Tyrael and drop down the Sanctification and just completely nullify any type of Reaper Marks coming out. Playing Ducks thinking that they want to get a little bit more damage, decide to move into a Lucio, having double support, and grab the Greymane.
Yeah, double support with Greymane and Gul'dan, and if you have Johanna at the front, she has so much survivability on her own that she can definitely hold that front line quite easily by herself. So you have Laws of Hope on level 4 that you can also get even more self-sustain. You have the Iron Skin available to you too, and then after level 20, of course, the Indestructible, which is going to play a huge role here. Liquid needs that last pick to really make a difference for them, and they go for Li Ming, so they have actually a finisher, and I like that. So Lunara and Malthael can deliver the damage over time, and then with Li Ming trying to capitalize on the damage dished out by the poison heroes, she can really be the one to just finish the kill, get the reset, and then continue a snowball. So I like that as a last pick a lot for them.
Gonna have to make sure to land those shots though and make sure not to get chased down. If we have Lunara or Li Ming at a position at all, Greymane and Gul'dan will have their kill potential available to them. And trying to one away from a Lucio when he's popping that speed boost and you being a Greymane is probably one of the most difficult things in the game to deal with. So gotta make sure those fights are on point.
Yeah, coordination again on this map is everything, and especially the first two turn-ins, that's of course something that we need to focus on. The European teams have really perfected that to a T. You want to get that second turn in. Once you have the first turn in, you are the team that is trying to make the play. You're waiting for your 10. You're trying to delay as much as you can. And we have a lot of delay tools on both sides. We have the Wave of Light for Uther. We are seeing, of course, Lunara with Poke, have Li Ming, have hooks. There's so much available right now for both of these teams that they can work with for a delay. The early stage of the game is going to make a huge difference again.
Well, we're getting ready for our fourth game in the series. Team Liquid is up and ahead here, 2-1. Can they get a victory over the Playing Ducks? Can they finish out this series? They've been having a lot of trouble as of late doing so in a majority of their matches. But if you look at the composition for them, they have something that I think they're pretty comfortable with here. Great late game, great spots for them to fight. It's all about these turn-ins. Let's go into Tomb of the Spider Queen here and see who will get the win.
Let's head straight in. Team Liquid fans on the edge of their seat right now as their team is fighting for that last map win. We are on Tomb of the Spider Queen with Splendor on Uther, Blumby on Stitches for those hooks. Hazobs is playing Lunara right now. Malthael and Li Ming to round the lineup out. So Team Liquid fighting for the victory.
On the right side, in the red, Playing Ducks also fighting for the victory. Chris playing Gul'dan, Nande on Johanna, Sport Billy playing the Lucio, Wolf Joe on Rhaegar, and Eternal will be your Greymane for this game.
Regeneration Master picked up by Johanna as level 1 talents go. That's of course pretty fantastic considering that on this map you are more or less guaranteed to finish it early. Thanks to quick rotations between lanes, you will be able to pick up extra regeneration globes. Rhaegar, going for the standard level 1 talent with a Lightning Bond, you have the extra wave clear that you want. We're seeing the Playing Ducks actually attempting to block the minion wave a little bit, which gives Nurok the opportunity to get some extra shots with Li Ming in against the towers.
Kind of curious if he's going to go into the Q build on level 4 here. Nurok seems to really favor that. A lot of members go Dominance. It allows you to go ahead and snowball a fight, make it harder for your opponent to fight back. But Nurok, believing in his ability to land those skill shots and burst a target down. We'll see if he picks it up at level 4. For now, it's all about wave clear. Moving between your lanes. I want to see how the lanes are set up. Here's that bottom side. One support with an assassin. Been seeing this a lot more as of late, and Darkmok might pay the price here for going in. The boop comes in for Sport Billy, but Darkmok gets out instead. Hasselhoff shows up.
Get outplayed, son. Sport Billy immediately pushing him into the towers, and Darkmok did not see that one happening. That was a pretty cool move by Sport Billy, and Darkmok definitely learned to be a bit more careful against Lucio here. They leave some gems behind, but now you have them rotating straight into the middle. So it's mostly Uther holding the top alone at this point. Poor guy. And the rest of the team just rotating a bit. Mid, top, top, mid. Trying to see if they can just catch someone off guard from the Playing Ducks.
Poor lonesome Uther trying to hold that lane there. We'll be able to do so eventually. We're going to have Nurok and Liquid clear out the rest of the middle here. Darkmok is on the bottom side, and Sport Billy is being annoying against Malthael. First off, it's hard to hit your E on top of him. Try and get that proc. You can't work up to working those auto attacks. Sport Billy is just slowly just beeping him down.
Dartmoor just can't engage into him because he knows if he does, Eternal is there. So it's a 2-for-1, and that means Dartmoor has to play safe. He's totally willing to sacrifice some tower ammunition for that. The rest of the team really needs to take advantage of that 4 versus 3 situation that they have going here. Blumby with a nice hook attempt here, a bit of a prediction hook, was hoping for someone to dodge and dodge up to the top. That didn't happen, but it was still a good thought that he had there. Level 4 talents, kicking in a bit faster for playing Ducks now. And with that we see Laws of Hope, as we mentioned before. Johanna can easily be the solo tank here with a double support and also her own sustain. And here comes that hook, but Iron Skin is immediately being popped, and that's one of the reasons why Johanna is a very good choice for the solo tank here in this setup.
And again, no dominance here from Nurok. Trying to get that single target DPS damage, hoping to lock down a target with the Stitches hook into an Uther stun, helping his team get damage up front, which will allow for the poison to finish them off later. Watch as that pays off for them. As the continued turn-ins happen, as Team Liquid have dropped off 18 gems, they still have 20 more, where playing Ducks have not had a chance to drop any off, as the poke here from both Nurok and Lenora has been enough to stop them from moving in.
Yeah, Liquid has of course to be careful. If they start losing members, then it's easy for them to fall behind here, and the Ducks are doing a very solid job overall. There we go with a kill against against the Ducks. Making sure that they get Lucio this time. So Lucio down, and as you said, Liquid continuously turns in, and they try to do that again. Blumby getting in position for a potential hook here. Nanda blocking for the rest of the team, but with Chris firing away from the back line, they're a bit low, and Splendor was running out of mana. So Blumby uses the helping hand to help his support out, and Splendor now finally having the opportunity to quickly tap before they are starting to head in again. And they only need 10 more gems, and they will have the first weapon go away.
Great helping hand there, as Rhaegar came in with the totem, dropped it down on top of Uther, which meant a couple of Fel Flames, so we could have had an Uther be killed off. The helping hand pulled him away from the slow, which allowed for him to walk away nicely. So good job there by Blumby. Turn in again as 6 joins are being dropped off. Witchove comes in to harass.
Yeah, hook against Rhaegar. Wolf Joe low. And Uther wanted to commit for an extra stun, didn't get that done yet. But we had also in the meantime the Ducks turning in a few of their gems on their own. So they are sitting at 26 now. And yeah, Liquid needs to make sure that they are confirming the turn in if they really want to have the first one here. But the Ducks are doing whatever they can to interrupt it for as long as possible. And Nanda is the one that Team Liquid has to watch out for, because he currently holds 24, and that would complete the turn in.
10 gems away for Team Liquid, 24 for the Ducks, and Nande would have enough to turn in, as you just mentioned. Constantly poking here in the middle. Playing Ducks doing a better job of controlling that turn in on the top side. We had Mouthfeel try a few times to drop off his gems, but Greymane is keeping tabs on him. And now usually at this point, it comes down to a kill. When your opponent is doing such a good job of stopping you from the turn-ins, you try to go for kills at that point. Get 1 or 2, that way you can sneak one in.
Yeah, or you sneak to the bottom, but nobody on the side of Team Liquid outside of Darkmorg was holding 10 gems at the time. Now I think Lunara picked up a few extra as well, and they are attempting to get the turn-in up top. Yeah, but Johanna moves in again, and only 4 delivered, so Hazops could not complete the turn-in. 6 away for Team Liquid. But it comes down to the same thing. Both of the teams need 1 hero to turn in. For the Ducks, it is Nanda who holds 30, and for Team Liquid, it is at this point more or less anybody outside of Nurok that can complete it. And I think Rhaegar, who just turned in his own gem, so 3 heroes have the chance to complete it. Level 7 talents are ready for both teams, and we already are at level 8, which means that if you get the turn in here, you can even snowball that to 10 pretty quickly.
Blumby, though, may get picked off in the middle as Chris and crew go in for the engage. They get him low. Even a cleanse being utilized, but slightly too late as Blumby gets focused down, and now Stitches won't be up for 15 seconds. Can Nande move in for a turn-in? The answer is no, because Team Liquid was able to sneak in a few turns.
Good save.
Thank you.
Well done. Yeah, so we had Hazops sneaking to the top. Once that they realized that they couldn't save Blumby, he moved in immediately to the top turn-in point and turned in for that. And they also rescued all of the gems that were dropped by Stitches. So now Stitches comes in just as the Web Weavers are down, so they're not losing out too much. The low death timers in this stage of the game definitely helping them. But they still need to make sure that they are now getting a bit of an edge here over their opponent. So they want to break through these walls at least, because at this point the Ducks are actually even ahead in experience.
I am so convinced that I want to play Lucio against Malthael now. That seems like such a fun type of way to fight. Whenever they go in for the dive, you drop a sound wave on top of them, knocking him into turrets constantly. Sportbilly having a heyday in that bottom lane, but for now, They have to clear out the middle side as 10 is on its way. Turret's already broken down the middle lane. They do kill the Web Weaver, but the top continues to push.
Yeah, and Johanna needs to be careful here. 44 gems, that is quite a lot. So if you're the solo frontliner, you are of course supposed to be the one picking most of the gems up. But at the same time, you have to be very cautious that you're not getting taken out, because that would immediately set your team back a lot. 10s are in. Will hit for the playing Ducks very soon as well. Putrid Bile has been chosen. And let's see, there's also Thornwood Vines for even more poke. Good damage from Hazops and his boys with level 10. They moved in and poked away at the structure, so they get those out of the way. But the question still is, can they get the second turn? And they're currently trying to. But Darkmok himself is the one that holds most of their gems, and he is interrupted, as is Lunara.
Spore Billy coming in there for that interrupt. Team Liquid on the top side are putting damage on Nande, with Laws of Hope though being here. And Iron Skin, he should be just fine. Hook does come out. Use Iron Skin to escape for the current fight. Spore Billy continuing to harass on the front side. Nurok does find some damage on Spore Billy though and gets him low.
Yeah, and there's a Blessed Shield coming out. They're trying to engage. Sound Barrier drop, but the poke damage that we have from Liquid is actually getting quite insane, and that is Eternal in trouble. Horrify comes out to save him, and we have the Ancestral coming through. Divine Shield on Malthael as they are going in deep. Darkmok trying to get kills here, and the constant poke of Liming, but the Ducks are moving away. All of the heroics have been used though. Ah, the hook against Lucio, and he is down. Splendor ready with a stun, and goodbye, baby.
Blumby has found a magnet today as he's landing his hooks, hitting multiple times here in the fight. So what we missed on Friday, which would have been helpful for them. Blumby landing it, and they get another turn in 4. His hook there as they kill Lucio. Now they can push in with their Web Weavers.
It also just shows how dangerous it really is with all the poke that is available from Team Liquid. All those AoEs that we are seeing, especially of course with the poison damage. The Ducks are in these situations suffering quite a bit. Lumbi waits for the hook, but Eternal is ready for the dodge.
Dodging out. Do get the lane pushed forward. Blumby turns around. He is taking pressure. Putrid Bile will be popped up. Doing just fine for now. Low on health, but still here. Splendor tops him off when Darkmok comes in for the fight.
And it also means that they don't have anyone rotating to the top and bot lane. Again, the stun and the potential kill, but the sound barrier comes through. The double support, keeping the Ducks alive, but they're losing the fort at the top and the bot lane, since they are concentrating on that 5 versus 5 here in the middle. Lumbi looking for another hook, lurking in the shadows to the side as the rest of the team moves through the middle.
Exactly. That hook may not have gotten a kill, but they got 3 forts because of it. Playing Ducks had to sit in the middle and make sure all 5 were near each other in case a fight did break out. They continue to move forward, the middle and the bottom side. They will clean it out at some point, but Team Liquid, look at the experience lead they have gained from this major push. 13.5 to nearly 12 for the Ducks.
Yeah, 2 extra levels for them, and that of course results in the extra talent. We are having now the bot lane taken, at least the 2 Siege Giants that we talked about here. Not a single fort is left for the Playing Ducks, whereas they have not taken one down yet. We have 100 gems on the side of the Playing Ducks, so they definitely have the potential for 2 turn-ins, nearly 3 at this point. The big issue, of course, is that with the talent behind, it's rough for them to move in and do anything around the turn-in spots to gain the objective. And with Liquid just poking away and doing so much damage over time, long fights and stalemates are currently, even with a double support, ending up in Liquid's favor slowly and steadily. So that's an issue for the Ducks. And if they at any point lose their gems, they would be more or less lights out.
Could happen here. Nande gets hooked. We'll pull away with Iron Skin, and this become the issue as of late on Tomb of the Spider Queen. If those 2 turn-ins do happen and you lose your forts, you're constantly sitting back, waiting for that moment to get the fight. But your opponent, at the same time, is grabbing gems for a 3rd turn-in. And the moment we see a 3rd turn-in, that's when the keep walls start to open up. Suddenly boss calls become available for Team Liquid. The Playing Ducks have to find a moment.
And I mean, just look how far forward Liquid plays with that talent advantage. They're posturing super far forward, looking for hooks, trying to push the Ducks back as much as they can while they are still turning in. They're 1 single gem away from getting another turn in, the 3rd in a row, and that would be a disaster, as you said. Walls would open up, potential keeps eliminated, and the fight is still continuing. Again, going for Nanda. Still 1 shot after another being hit here as we see the Ducks now trying to turn in. They have their 13, so that is something, and it finally is delivered. Eternal, thanks to Sport Billy's group and pushing them away, was able to just sneak that in somehow. But this is not over just yet. Nice hook attempt. Hazops poking. Thornwood Vines activating. And Nanda still holds 60. Yes, they get a turn in. But 60 gems on your tank even if it's Johanna with the double support, that's pretty uncomfortable.
He now has more gems than the rest of his teammates on the field here. They're close, but not close enough. He has over half of the gems available for the Ducks. He cannot die. Team Liquid will pull back for the moment. They are hoping to clear out the web weavers that are coming their way. Playing safe, don't want to get picked.
Johanna loves the bling bling.
She loves the bling bling.
She likes it. She's not turning in.
Oh.
They're like, please turn in, and Johanna said, nope, I like this.
Also getting chunked here.
I'm going
some
for
damage.
100.
At 100, you get an extra life.
Now you unlock a special mount.
Oh, is that what it is?
I actually told that one guy in EuroLeague at one point.
Why would you do that?
Dude, it was so funny. He believed every word. It got so salty when we turned in when we finished the game as he had 95 gems. He really believed it. But yeah,
Such a clever troll.
it was perfect. I had a lot of fun. But yeah, you don't get the extra amount when you hit 100. I mean, you can try, but I'm pretty sure that's not working. You're not riding a gem afterwards or like a diamond ring. So don't try that. The thing is that even with the turn-in now, the problem for the playing Ducks just remains that Team Liquid is so close to level 16 that if Liquid plays it right, it should give them a massive lead. And again, look at how difficult it is now for Johanna. That was a great iron skin, but the entire time, if you're Nanda, you are on edge because you know that if you make a misstep, your team is about to lose here. Here's the turn-in for Team Liquid. 120 gems in the hands of the playing Ducks, but Team Liquid gets another turn-in. They have their level 16. This is the moment when if you are Team Liquid, you need to drop a keep. Now you need to run with that advantage. Keep the game that Dignitas played against Zealots in mind, where they were ahead over and over again by 2-3 level leads, and then they just couldn't really commit to finish the game out, drop these keeps, and the Zealots came back over and over and over again. That's what you try to avoid. If you are Team Liquid, this is the moment where you say, this needs to get value for us. We have a talent lead and we have the objective. We need to get value out of this situation.
And they're prepping the lanes to do so. Already, they put the Lenore on the top lane, they're pushing the wave. You can see how all the web weavers are in a concave. They're all pushing together at the same time. This makes it harder for the playing Ducks to defend. Playing Ducks do move out in the middle and clear the web weaver on the middle side, but based on where the Ducks do go, Team Liquid can respawn by going to the counter side of the map. Ooh, Malthael actually does get picked on the bottom side. Looks like Horrify as well as Go for the Throat were used.
Yeah, that was what the Ducks needed. Getting a kill here against Team Liquid in that scenario, that's the dream. It doesn't get any better than that. You're behind a talent and the web weavers are moving in. If you get that isolation kill, you have an easy time defending. And now the walls have been opened up. That's good, but not a single one of the keeps has taken damage.
They're moving straight for a turn in, and they know they have the 5v4. They still have Busted Shield. They can pump it up. They still have 2 save buttons in case Nane does get in trouble. They move in. Blummy drops down a hook, misses, and will have to pull away.
Yeah, Malthael is not going to be ready for another few seconds. Here, Blumby with a Putic Vial rushes away, but maybe they can stop Nanda from turning in. If they can make that happen.
Malthael's back.
Nope, there it is. It's too late. Hazops had a chance there. There was no Wisp over here. Nanda turned in, and that is now so important. That was so important for Ducks for so many different reasons. First of all, the turret itself is fantastic. It can bring them back into the game now. And second of all, you relieve the pressure from Johanna, who can now be a little bit more aggressive. So that was a huge deal for the Ducks here to turn in. And Liquid might be ahead in experience, but also from a structural point of view, but the Ducks can definitely get all of these back.
Yeah, this is a moment where the Ducks can make their plays to open up the battleground themselves. They can move in for another turn in afterwards. They move in for the middle fourth. They can start chucking it down. Nande even looking more aggressive. You mentioned how he now has the ability to do so, and he's showing it already. Moves in straight to the wave, takes the fort damage here, so the web weavers can move in for a little bit, pulls back afterwards and gets heals from his teammates.
Yeah, and they can now grab that extra experience in these structures. The top web weaver has been defeated, so now the spiders in the middle are breaking through the first fort, but is defeated. There's one more at the bot lane. Liquid holds on to a 1-level lead. But still, this is close. Also, I want to highlight again something that we talked about at the beginning of the game when the draft was still in play. We have unfair advantage actually taken. We didn't really talk about it too much. But it is extremely cool when you combo it off with Putric Vial, because Putric Vial slows and you get extra 50% damage to slowed heroes. So you can really capitalize off that. That's one of the reasons why Lunara is so successful here with the damage output. Splintered Spear also come into play here. Nice wave of force by Li Ming. They go for Nanda. Ancestral goes through. The combos are hitting. Pulverize again, slowing Johanna down. And they are not letting up. They're still going for it. Sound Barrier being used as Darkmok jumps in deep.
The Horrify will be used to. Nande does fall. Darkmok continuing the chase. All 4 members of the playing Ducks do escape except for Nande. And this means Team Liquid can move back and start to work on a boss. And they do. Opening it up right away. Nice flank there from Darkmok, setting the opportunity for Team Liquid to kill Nande.
The kill was important, but also that Horrify was used is another big big sign that you can go for the boss play. And with Lunara and Malthael, you drop that thing really fast. Now, the Ducks have gone for another Web Weaver wave. They know that the boss is being taken, so their thought process here is, if our Web Weavers push out the lanes, we can defend and we're not going to lose too much. So they sacrifice a fair amount of gems. They're not going to get too much out of it, but they still will be in a position where Liquid has to deal with Web Weavers, and in the meantime, the Ducks can deal with the boss.
And Team Liquid, while they get the boss to the top and it pushes in and they don't get to push in the keep, they are happy with the Web Weavers being turned in. That's one less thing they have to deal with later on. They also get experience too as they clear out the waves. They're moving towards that level 20, opens up the map completely. Team Liquid is okay with this exchange. Yeah,
it was just a trade-off. The Ducks sacrifice gems, Team Liquid says, okay, you can defend against the boss for free, and everybody walks away more or less happy. I mean, of course, Ducks not really too happy about it.
A little less happy.
A little bit less happy.
They don't have dimples on their smile.
Team Liquid is okay with it. But especially since, as you said, they are heading into level 20 now. They have half a level that still they need until they hit the next one. But I have to point it out again. They haven't taken a keep yet. So right now, when you look on the map, it's even. Both teams have lost their forts. Both teams are on their keeps. Liquid has the advantage in levels. But what that always means is, what are you trying to do with advantages in the game? Because on level 20, it's all reset. Except for one thing. Keeps that you destroyed. So you always try through a talent advantage to eventually end up in a position where you take down your opponent's keeps. I mean, ideally, of course, you make a play for the core right away. But if you can't make that work, then your goal is to eliminate keeps before your opponent hits level 20 and establish an advantage on the map through that. Then you have more options in how you play the game. Since you have catapults pushing through these lanes, especially when you run globals, you can try and play out around your opponent. So for Team Liquid, now that they've hit 20, they have not quite a level in which they have map dominance. They can now turn in, get the Web Weavers, which they just did. So now they push with Web Weavers. They have their level 20 talent. And now you need to take keeps down. If you now don't take a keep, then you basically just reset the entire game once that the playing Ducks gain that half level of experience that's just they need until they hit 20.
Ducks have done everything they can, though, to buy time to get 20 while this Web Weaver push does come in. They grab Giants on the bottom, which push in the wave, which makes the Web Weaver be more defensive as it's on the other side of the battleground. They got the Mercs pushing in the middle side as well, so they did slow it down. And that time that they bought has gotten them about half a level of experience. They are about a quarter away from that level 20. And with Gul'dan being on their team, they have solid wave clear. They can deal with these Web Weavers and work on getting the minions to get that 20.
Yeah, Liquid right now, the Ducks will hit 20, there's no doubt about that. The only question is, how many keeps will they lose when that's the case? And of course, a good hook right now could also potentially even open up a chance to end the game for Team Liquid. But they are working on the first keep already, and they choose one of the side lanes. They went to the top, which means the Web Weaver at the bot lane is going to get value either way. There's the first keep falling. Now they're starting to focus straight onto the middle, where Eternal is already taking Web Weaver down. Lumbi might be looking for the hook as everybody rotates bottom. So the Ducks have hit 20. Web Weaver is still here. Bottom keep takes a bit of damage. Darkmog is trying to make sure that the keep is taking even more. Hook is not hitting. Iron Skin even being used here. And now Liquid walks away. So when all is said and done, we have both teams on level 20. And we have one keep that was eliminated. This is the one advantage that Team Liquid has right now. And to be honest, it's on the weakest one of the lanes. Because, I mean, there's two things that are to talk about here when we're talking about the top keep being eliminated. It opens up the top lane so that if you take the boss, it pushes straight for core. But the problem that you have with it is it's oftentimes better for you if you drop the bottom keep, since when you posture around the boss and the boss is up, both teams are usually trying to see, okay, can we get the boss? Can we sneak that in? And if you have the bottom keep of your opponent eliminated, then it means that while this posturing is taking place, your opponent's bot lane is pushing against the core, and eventually they will have to split someone off to deal with the lane, and that's the moment when you can sneak the boss in.
It helps you stretch them thin. And right now the playing Ducks are on the bottom side, but they don't have to worry about the boss because it was picked up earlier. That will be spawning pretty soon. There is good news, though, with Catapults pushing the top lane. If Team Liquid can keep playing Ducks around this general area, they can force some fights, get some Catapults, start moving in on the armor, but playing Ducks already backing up, willing to play defensively, knowing they can't force anything, and they don't have to fight against Team Liquid. There's only 40 gems on them, 30 already turned in, 10 left on them right now, so they don't have that 70 gems that's needed for them to get Web Weavers. Playing Ducks can play this slow, play patiently, and play it smart.
There's also another reason why Team Liquid This is a small thing, but it can become incredibly important. If you have the choice of fighting closer to your own core, to your opponent's core, if you have your keep still in place, you will always choose to fight closer to your opponent's core. Because if you lose the fight, the chances that the Ducks can end the game by going to the left side, crossing the map, taking the keep down, and then going to the core, that's so much time that it's likely that you respawn. But Nanda falling here would be a disaster. He has the indestructible, but we have Stitches in trouble. Divine Shield saves him. Nanda gets the healing with the Ancestral, but Wolfjo is low and Rhaegar is down. This could be it, Tim. Down goes Greymane. A double kill as Team Liquid is taking down 2 and forcing themselves now into the mid lane towards the keep, trying to drop the second one, thinking about rotating top for the boss play.
That hook and the Divine Shield may have just won this game. Team Liquid moves straight to the top here. They're going to start working on this boss, which remember, which will push into the core. There is 40 seconds left here before Rhaegar and Greymane are back on the field, so we have time for this. I'm watching the Gul'dan. They are going to come in. Will the Playing Ducks try to disrupt? They are disrupting. Big corruption does come out, and the sound barrier. Blumby is low.
Blumby is incredibly low. Wow, they actually moved them away from the boss. The bottom keep might fall, but still. That was pretty impressive. That should have been a boss end game.
Condemn into the corruption. Just enough there. Nurok also getting hit there.
Whoa, they just bought themselves more time. They still have a shot now. And the Ducks have 62 gems. So 2 keeps have been eliminated. The bottom keep has now fallen. But that is still an interesting scenario, since Web Weavers for the Ducks would eventually be cleaned out by the catapults, but it still would help them to potentially push in and maybe even win a fight. So, yeah, kudos to the Ducks. I mean, that was impressive. I thought for sure that a boss would be taken and the game would end there, but nope. Fight still continues, but as I say, the Blessed Shield comes through. Gul'dan is already dead. Can the counter kill change it around? Doesn't look like it. Wave of Force already used to get Wolfjo into a really awkward spot. Hazard chased him down. The orb connects, and Rhaegar is eventually going to fall here. Great play from Team Liquid. They go for Eternal, and they get him. It's a double kill. It's a triple. Team Liquid moving towards a victory in game number 4 as Nanda and Lucio both fall. This has to be game. Team Liquid moving towards the core. They have the 2-1 lead, and on the 4th map, Tomb of the Spider Queen, Team Liquid finishes the game with a team wipe against the Playing Ducks as they race down the core.
Team Liquid needed to win today. They needed to win this tight series against the Playing Ducks, and it was a close match overall, but with one final hook from Blumby on Chris, they are able to get the win, and they will win this series 3-1. A sigh of relief for those at home that have been cheering for Team Liquid.
Yeah, definitely a huge relief for them. They are now in a spot where they have, in the direct comparison with the Playing Ducks, a 2-0. They won in part 1 of Phase 2, and now they just won in the second part as well. Super important for them. That is helping them a lot. And for the Ducks, of course, it's a step further towards the Crucible. They're not in the Crucible just yet, but that was definitely a setback for them.
Yeah, still some more important series of the next couple of weeks that both of our teams will be playing, but Team Liquid coming out and getting the victory they needed today. Playing Ducks falling victim there to the hooks. Still, they made some great strides, and I feel like I say that every time I watch a Playing Ducks match. Wow, they did great here. Wow, they did great there. Oh, but they lost here. It's very unfortunate this team has continued to grow, but they have yet to get to the point where they are soaring.
Now, they are still not confirmed for the Crucible yet. We have seen the Zealots improve a lot, but if the Zealots, for example, hit a few losses in the next few days, they could also get pushed further and further down in the standings, and the Ducks have shown better and better play every time. So if they get some crucial wins against direct competition, they are still in a situation where they can get out of the Crucible. But that today definitely hurt them a lot. They probably didn't even think about it, but at some point it became realistic that Team Liquid was a team that had to be afraid of dropping into the Crucible, and with the victory of the Ducks over Team Liquid today, that would have been a very big option. But right now, Liquid moving away from those spots a little bit, and the Ducks, yeah, it's getting a lot thin now where they are right now.
Yeah, a short amount of distance has been popped here between the Crucible and the 6th place team here. Team Liquid, Zealots, and crew moving up a little bit over the last couple of days with their victories, of course. So we'll see what will be happening as we continue to move with Week 9 and Week 10 to see who will fall into that Crucible. But remember that 6th place team will still fight in the playoffs, which will be happening in a few weeks. So Team Liquid can go ahead and continue to think about going to BlizzCon, which was their #1 goal moving into Phase 2. Now they still have that chance with their win today, and if they continue to get more wins in the next couple of weeks, they'll still be in those playoffs.
Can you think about how insane it would be if Team Liquid, now that they dropped all the way down to the 7th spot at some point, if they all of a sudden establish themselves on number 6, go into the playoffs, defeat everybody, and go to BlizzCon?
How fun would that be, though?
I mean,
that's a storyline right there.
It's a roller coaster. It has been a roller coaster for them ever since they started their slump in Phase 1, when they didn't make it to the mid-season brawl. But from there on, it's just like a constant up and down. They go to the Western Clash, come back, fall short on winning any games. Now all of a sudden they are starting to gain some momentum again. So Team Liquid definitely... being a Team Liquid fan is
a roller coaster right now.
Yeah, it's definitely a roller coaster ride. I mean, you never know what you're going to get. Every single weekend you're watching the games, and you're just like, well, let's hope they're showing up today.
The drama, the passion, the heat of the matches continue here for Team Liquid. They get their win, they're 3-1. Now later on, we will be going into another fun match. So we'll be watching Expert and Fnatic face off, and that is its own match in itself, as Expert is trying to get more and more victories to catch up with Dignitas and grab that second spot that is available for the HGC finals that will be occurring. Because remember, we have a total of 3 slots that will be going to BlizzCon. 2 of them automatically locked in due to your placements, and 1 that will be happening for the playoffs that Caldor and I were just mentioning. So Expert wants to get that victory over Fnatic, and Fnatic, maybe they'll be a little bit lax. They've already qualified for the HGC finals and are in a good spot, so that'll be a fun one to watch later on.
Yeah, I don't think that Fnatic is going to let up too much. I think for them it's important that they have a bit more time. They don't have to prepare for the matches as hard anymore, but I think this is actually probably going to help them because they were a little bit burned out at some point. They've been talking about how it was really rough for them to just always get those practice matches and everything, but at the same time now, if they just practice half as much, they are probably going to be even more dangerous, to be honest, and then they can just go full in once that they know that BlizzCon is around the corner to prepare for the games against the Koreans, against the other regions, against North America, because they are right now the team that wants to win BlizzCon.
Yeah, I mean, seeing them at the Western Clash in a relaxed state and then seeing how well they dominated is kind of scaring me a little bit, how much time they have here to be in a relaxed state and prepare for the HGC finals. Now they can work on their special strategies. Maybe we get more of the cool Void Prison Sky Temple match that we got back at the MSB.
Also, they didn't lose a single map when they were playing at the Western Clash. That just showed how dominant they were. And the only series where they struggled a little bit when they after they came back was the one against Dignitas. So that was, Dignitas always has been their kryptonite a bit, and they broke that spell at the mid-season brawl when they defeated them twice, and now they also took them down twice in the actual regular league play. But outside of Dignitas, it just doesn't seem that any of the Western teams can hold a candle to them. So
yeah, I was really expecting Expert at the Western Clash to be that team that maybe comes up and disrupts a little bit more, but they were completely shut down by Fnatic. It was actually very interesting to see. Maybe we'll have some North American teams that come in and can challenge Fnatic. That's maybe a bit of a stretch, but it was to be awesome to see.
Sure.
And it's not even a little bit of a chance there. I mean, I was glad to see at the Western Clash that we saw teams like Team Liquid struggling a little bit with teams like Team Freedom and whatnot. Maybe Fnatic's a little bit too far up there, but still would be cool to see that competition as we get ready for BlizzCon.
I had high hopes for Roll20. I thought they would make the 15-0 this weekend, but then it didn't turn out. Against the last team in the standings,
even on Death beat them,
yeah, even on Death beat them. I mean, I told Glorang over and over again, don't play Mage Sul'jin. Did he listen? No, he didn't.
We'll go ahead and blame on that. We'll say that's what happened. We'll go ahead and just finagle the loss there.
They didn't play Mage Sul'jin.
Even in Death, got a victory on Roll20. Now, it was a 3-1 overall to Roll20, but still pretty crazy to see they didn't get that 12-0. Let's go ahead and look at the updated standings here with the victories that just happened. Remember, that 6th and 7th spot was what we were looking at. And with this win here, Team Liquid gets some breathing room. 2 wins over the Playing Ducks, and Playing Ducks continue to be down there in that 7th spot.
Yeah, so Team Liquid now tied with Zealots, but the standings are definitely a bit crazy. Good Guys already all the way down at the bottom. They have played 12 games, more so than any other team outside of Team Dignitas. But yeah, our standings are getting closer and closer here. And it's, for me, right now, it's really about the Zealots. They are still one of the more likely teams that could drop down into the Crucible. But then again, they looked really good so far. They are improving constantly. The only reason why I'm mentioning them here with the context of the Crucible is that it's still a chance that it happens. They have some great teams to go up against still. And we've seen teams that just made it into the league struggle at some point. So consistency is a really big deal. You can have some awesome weeks where everything just like works your way, but it's always the question, how do you react when things don't work out for you? When there's like small problems and when you just don't get the results that you want in the HGC play?
Well, we do have Blumby here from Team Liquid to talk about the series that we just witnessed. Blumby, welcome to the HGC, and explain to us, man, how are you feeling right now? Because that was a tough match and one that you guys needed to win.
Yes, that was a very, very important matchup for us. We've been struggling, and it just feels good to win again. Like, we've been losing the last 3 series, and it wasn't like close losses, I would say, like besides the trick game. But yeah, I'm just happy that we finally won again, and maybe, hopefully, out of the momentum that we get from these wins against playing Ducks, we can snowball a bit and hopefully get to the very top again.
Awesome. Well, I know a lot of people are very happy with your win today, and we'll continue to cheer you on. Going on the next couple of weeks, of course, you still have Week 9 and Week 10 here in the HGC, and those are wins that you guys will need to grab as well to be in the playoffs. Is the HGC final still something that you guys are thinking about a lot, or is it more of a thing where you guys are just focusing on one game as you continue to go week by week?
I mean, I'm thinking about the finals all the time, like about the playoffs, and like a lot of people see it in a way that we have to avoid Crucible, but I like to see it more in the way that I want to just make it to playoffs and then give our best at playoffs. And yeah, we have a couple of weeks left where we still have time to improve. This week of scrims was honestly very good for us. It wasn't enough for Trick yet, but honestly, the matchup was pretty close. Like some weird misplays by us led to a 1-3 overall, but I think it could have been a lot closer series. And yeah, we're just gonna keep working very hard and probably, hopefully, gonna be in shape for the playoffs.
Glass half full kind of mentality. I like it. Over to Caldor.
First of all, congratulations. You guys made it happen here and now have a good spot of moving forward here again. But I want to talk a little bit about the mental state of the team right now. How did you guys feel heading into the series today? Because you must have thought what happens if you lose here. Just a few weeks ago, everybody was talking about your Western Clash performance, about you guys going to BlizzCon potentially. What was the atmosphere in the team like? Was there a lot of tension, or did you say, okay, we got this, we can make this happen, and it's all going to work out in the end?
I mean, we were quite surprised how poorly we performed after the clash. Like, we set to ourselves as a goal after the clash, like, our coach talked to us after the clash, and we had a talk that we have to try very hard right now. Like, Expert is practicing super hard. They put in the hours. Like, there are a lot of teams that want to like get into the top 3, and it's gonna be hard to qualify for BlizzCon. Like, any team can make it, and yeah, it was kind of hard for us to lose like that the first 3 series. Like, it was 0-3, 0-3, 1-3, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know really. It just snowballed into a state where we kind of also didn't feel honestly that confident anymore. Like, for example, the Tricked series is the best example. Like, this week we had really good scrims, I think, and we've been improving a lot. But the Tricked series kind of shows that we didn't really translate that into the actual HGC match. So I'm really happy that today it worked out. We actually did a lot less mistakes overall, and yeah, I'm just happy that today we showed kind of how well we can play.
And you guys definitely look better today, but overall, was Crucible actually something that worried you? You just talked a second about that you personally said, okay, I want to think about BlizzCon more than anything else. I want to think about the finals and the playoffs. And you guys memed a little bit after you lost your first series after you came back from BlizzCon when some of you guys were streaming. You had in your title, so trying to avoid the Crucible. And at that point, it was more of a joke. But after you started losing more series, did that actually become a concern? Or were you always as a team on that note that you said, okay, we shouldn't have lost all these series, but there's still no chance we're going to drop this far?
I mean, I think the thought was for sure, and like it has been, like we have been talking about it in the team as well, and for sure some people in the team had the thought about Crucible and stuff, but honestly, before those talks came up, I personally didn't really think about it. Like, I also didn't look at the standings at all after we lost, because for me, I just want to give my very best. Like, I don't care if we are second or third or sixth. Like, I just want to go in with a mindset that's not, that's not kind of limited or pressured by anything. I just want to play my best regardless of standings, and for me that works out the best. But I can tell you for sure that like it's different for some other people in the team who actually look exactly how much or what do we need to do to qualify or not. But for them, I think it was a lot of pressure, but for me today, I actually didn't feel the pressure of that. If we might lose, we might go to Crucible. I didn't think about it at all today in the series, and I think it showed in our play that we played confident.
Yeah, it was definitely great performance from you guys today. So congratulations once again, and thanks for the answers.
All right, Blumby, thank you for your time. Congratulations on your victory. Before I let you go, any thoughts before we head into our next series?
I want to say thank you to all the people that support us, like watching our streams, cheering for us, and you guys are awesome. I know we had a lot of losses lately, and we really appreciate that you still come by to streams and say hi. And you know, I don't know, it's just good to have so much support from you guys. So you're awesome. Also, shout out to Monster Energy. They carried me today through the series, and should try it for sure. And you will get some wins in.
Awesome. Congratulations to Blumby and the rest of the crew for getting their victory today over the Playing Ducks. It's good, man. Humbled there. The support continuing to come in from the fans, guys.
That's
Keep
great.
those energy going.
Sell out game 1 point as well. Love it. It's not quite on Quackney's level yet, but...
At least he started there, you know? He's got the training wheels on.
Yeah,
You take him off soon.
You have to start slow, and then you can start to bring the memes in and put them on the top. So, yeah. Quacknix and Shrimp, yeah, performed that art by now, but Blumby, very... a disciple with a lot of potential.
On his way. Now, our next matchup is going to be the last one of the weekend here for Europe. Expert and Fnatic, and we'll check that out right after this commercial break.